Ah, no, Tom. Come back, Tom. Thomas. Thomas. Oh, he left me. Can't believe it. That son of a gun left me. Ah.
Sorry about that.
That's a likeless store. All right. Howdy, folks. Sorry it took us a little bit to get going tonight. Oh, goodness. Don't spill the horchata. Anything but the horchata. All right. Just talking to myself. Yeah, that's going to be the whole show. The whole show is just going to be me talking to myself. It's okay, Kenny. Everyone I love has left me too. Wow. Gosh, it got dark. It got dark super quick. Camille, what is up? What's up, Memphis? All right. Just waiting for Tom to get back and we'll get started. I guess the benefit, though, even though we had to start a little late, we got a little less news today, so we will be. So we'll spill the tonight's topic. Talking a little Justice League. I got to do a correction from last week. I messed up on some information for Raya and the Last Dragon. That was not correct. So I do want to make a correction there and kind of explain that issue a little bit better. And then we will be talking about the Oscars. So if you wonder why we don't really talk about the Golden Globes, we have said repeatedly on this show that we think the Golden Globes are rather trash. So
caveat to that, we also kind of think the Oscars are a bit trashed.
Yeah, the Oscars are kind of trash too, but they at least I feel like Oscars are doing a better job or have done a better job the past 5 years. Yes. As opposed to the Golden Globes. Everyone keeps being shocked that the Globes keep having issues. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And I guess a little bit tonight you might touch on the diversity issues in the Oscars. And since this is the off week for Red Shirt, that means it's my show on tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be talking about the problem with capitalism and diversity. So same time we start the show tomorrow night, I will be talking about that if we're putting money towards still a movie, Hollywood, that while we do want the people we see to be diverse, there's still some issues in there. So it can't just all be throw money at it. That's not a bad solution per se, but it's not a clean solution. So I'll explain that more Thursday night. But yeah, we got some. We'll get for our kind of our short news topics and then get to the other stuff. How you doing tonight, Tom?
I'm just Ducky. How about you?
Ducky. I'm full of tacos.
Quacking awesome.
I'm full of tacos. I have a container
Nice.
of horchata. This is.
Oh, but how does it fare?
Compared to the horchata that we had in Chicago, is still better.
Okay.
I might be able to find someone. I probably just need to find. I probably need to try some different shops. That's probably all.
I'll be
because
curious
the tacos
if
are
you can
great.
find something close.
Yeah.
I was hoping that I'd be able to come down for Kim Massey's thing, and we could find a solid serviceable burrito place. But
I mean, if you're gonna come down to St. Louis, then it needs to be more about let's get ribs.
okay,
Let's get some. We'll go to Bogart's. We'll get some ribs. The little flame touched ribs.
Just give it a little kiss of fire.
Let's see. Did Tom tell Garlic Jr.? He said hi. Into the we got that. I like the dead zone joke. It's good. It's working well. I like it. All right, let's get started.
Yep. Let's do this.
So we do have to start with a death in the Hollywood family. But this is one of my, I don't want to say one of my favorite, but it's definitely one of my more impactful young movie experiences. Like Definitely, my dad probably should not have been letting me watch Alien at such a young age, but whatever, it happened. And so Yaphet Kotto, he played. Oh wow, dang it!
Many people.
Let me go back. This is why we have notes, folks.
Yes.
No, because I always want to call him Lambert, but that was not his. That's not who he played in Alien. And that's my favorite role for him. Hold on, Parker. It was Parker. So I made a joke on Twitter. It's telling Tom off air that he's the OG black guy telling you to not go into a place, and then subsequently trying to save your ass from getting killed in it. So people might think of him as the Bond villain in Live and Let Die. And he also played a cop in like Homicide: Life on the Streets, Life on the Street. But I remember him most from Alien because, again, sci-fi connection there. So Bond's cool, not knocking Bond, but it's like it's Alien, you know. So, but yeah, he really is that guy. I know we get get other black folks in other movies later on, but he's the original. Like, stop it, don't go. What do you do? You know.
Yes, don't bring that guy back on board.
And go back and watch Alien. Know what's he complaining about? What's the first thing he's complaining about when he gets out of cryo sleep? His pay.
Yeah.
He's like, "Where's my money? Why we doing extra stuff? Where's my money? We doing extra work? Where's my money?" Older me can relate to that a lot. Young me liked it, but older me can be like, "Yeah, this is some bull." All right.
Yeah, we will miss. I mean, yeah, he was a good egg, and actually, he was very memorable to me in Live and Let Die because as a child, I thought that Roger Moore was a cool Bond, and I've since grown up beyond that. But
well, I think it's just
the fact that he was the first Bond villain of color as well. But I always conflated him with the old 7-Up guy with the super deep voice, who I think was also in Live and Let Die.
Orlando Bloom popped in my head first because that was my 7-Up guy, but you mean the book? You mean the other?
Yes, 7-Up, zero, no caffeine, never had it, never will. Yeah. I was scared to death of him as a child. Apparently, whenever he came on TV with his voice, it was the laugh, I think. Because when he would laugh, I would run out of the room.
Got scared, huh? Don't get scared now. Don't get scared.
Not anymore.
Tom, you probably shouldn't have told me that. I'm gonna find a way to use that.
Okay. All right.
Just had that laugh on a loop somewhere in your house, and you can't find where it's coming from. And it keeps changing. You're like, God. Cool. Made it to age 81. Survived by his wife. So, thank you for your impact on the world of cinema and in black cinema in particular. And moving our next topic, which, God, I guess, why did I go sad to sad?
Well, you know. Let's get it all out of... I mean, we're going from sad to sadder. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, Hollywood Foreign Press. So, this is us crapping on the Golden Globes again. And but specifically when they were trying to make... so, there's some films last year, in 2020 and 2019, that just didn't get press conferences or a lot of attention surrounding them with the Hollywood Foreign Press. And then they also did not get a lot of award nomination during the Golden Globes either. So you might be wondering, like, what is the press conference? What does that mean? It's not like we're making an announcement this movie is doing anything, or it's not like when someone puts up a billboard in Hollywood that's like for your consideration. This is not exactly that. It's an actual conference in front of the Foreign Press Board to kind of go to bat for your film. And the three films in particular not just free films, but Queen and Slim, Bridgerton. So that's the series on Netflix. So again, obviously Golden Globes does TV as well, and then Girls Trip, and so that doesn't necessarily mean that they were going to be going for like Best Picture, like Girls Trip. That's not going to go for Best Picture or things, but comedy. You know, you don't necessarily get to go for comedy in the Oscars, but you can go for like a Best Comedy in the Golden Globes. So that would be your time to try to, press for getting that, and they didn't get an opportunity to do that. So not only did I not get the conference, but I also didn't get any nom recognition either. The one that sticks out the most of those three, though, Queen and Slim. Queen and Slim was pretty good, and I thought it was a very before everything that happened in the summer of 2020, it's a really good look at police brutality and the issues like the communal issues of like how people would support people on the run in a situation like that. I feel like it's like, hey, we're gonna use a tense situation of a almost like a fugitive situation, and then we're gonna talk about all these dynamics. So I thought that was really good, and nothing from Golden Globes at least, and. Yeah, this is pretty damning from a organization that feels they're diverse enough and doesn't need to do any more changes. Yeah, what do you think, Tom?
It doesn't look good, and I mean, just to flat out reject those press conferences. Yeah, can we just cancel the Golden Globes?
I'd be down
from here on out. And I mean, not to use the C word, and to just get Tucker all riled up, but the fact is that the Golden Globes doesn't seem to. It's not fulfilling anything that we're missing from the Oscars, and they are like.
I mean, I do like the opportunity for other things to get seen, but then all that gets negated with situations like this.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm all for a second opinion, but this opinion sucks and has consistently sucked for at least a decade. I can't recall whenever I've cared about the Golden Globes. Compared to the Oscars, and even my interest in the Oscars is waning as well.
Yeah.
So,
because people
which
ask
I will talk about more later.
Yeah, people ask me like, do you sit and watch the whole time? I'm like, no. I have a life. What are you talking about? I follow the Google updates as they come in, and then I'll tweet about it. That's as much energy as you get out of me, Oscars. You get this episode, you get my predictions, and I will barely glance at you on my phone on that Sunday. Like, that's it. That's all that's all you can wrestle from me. Plus, Sonic's not going to win, so what does it matter anyway?
Yeah, Sonic is. I don't even think Sonic's mentioned in that at all.
That was fun, man. Remember when people thought Sonic and Trolls World Tour were just gonna rack up? No, I'm glad we're away from that hellish reality.
My only hope is like Gary Oldman or something like that will interrupt, the best film crew from getting up on stage and take the mic and just say, I'm going to let you say something in a minute.
I'm going to let you finish, but Sonic the Hedgehog was the best movie ever. You would pick Gary Oldman too.
Why not?
What if he's like so in character that we don't even know it's him? Now, which character he would pick, I don't know. And he's like, who is that guy that? It's Gary Oldman. What?
Wait, that could be a whole bit of just ripping off the mask with a Scooby-Doo read of Gary Oldman.
Yeah, and I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
So on to even sadder news.
Even sadder news. All right. So yeah, we'll keep you posted. So specifically, that news about from the Hollywood Foreign Press came from insiders within the organization. Says they've been getting criticized for those for the lack of diversity efforts, and people have been trying to investigate more details on it. So there might be more that comes on that. We'll get you updated on that.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to take away from Tom's amazing segue.
Okay.
I don't know if I mean this isn't great. This isn't a great look for HBO because a week ago, if you were trying to watch Tom and Jerry, you would have been met with the Justice League movie, about an hour of it before they caught the mistake and pulled it from HBO Max. So the virtual premiere this week. So the virtual opportunity to watch it early with people would have been invited and things like that, didn't work. And It didn't work, not like for a couple minutes. It didn't work for 6 hours. Yeah. There's an issue of there's Microsoft server outages, which
that affected a lot of people.
Yeah. So it's not just Justice League, but this is unfortunately one of the casualties of that. So, the access codes did eventually get out, and then they're catching up. So people that were invited in part of the premiere are at least be able to watch it now. But as far as all the premiere stuff that was supposed to happen to it, it just kind of had to keep going and had like some Q&As and stuff like that. But they weren't able to watch the show, or they weren't able to all right, everyone, kind of start your things, no, that wasn't able to happen.
Yep. So that's kind of funny, but also not. What I'm mostly sad about is that you and I are going to have to waste 4.5 hours of our lives this weekend to watch this thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if we want to watch it together, maybe like on Sunday, but
I can't wait that long. I got to get a review out, son.
Oh yeah. So maybe Friday night.
Do I want to watch it again?
Because my ass is not staying up until midnight Thursday.
Oh, no.
To watch it for 4 hours.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that either, Tom.
Okay.
They must be crazy. Well, okay. So the other thing too, they said that it come out the 18th. It was originally the 19th. Now the date is saying the 18th. So I think that means late tonight.
So I could maybe watch. I could clear my schedule tomorrow night. I got nothing major planned.
You ain't got nothing. I got to do Super Blur Variety Hour.
Oh yes,
from 8 to 9 p.m. Central.
Well, whose fault is that?
Plug. Thank you for that setup, Tom. That's not what you meant to do. Okay, maybe I'll watch it. I'm off all this week, so maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow.
I could maybe. We'll talk about schedules and see if we can sync up. My plan is to watch an edible or hit an edible. Watch one episode of Burn Notice because that's what I'm doing right now, and then for it to kick in, and then I will get into the Snyder Vision.
Look. What did you say at first? Look at an edible.
Yes, I'm going to look at an edible,
and then you're going to eat Justice League. Got it.
Yeah.
So here's all right. I'm hearing things. I can't read anything because I want to write my review free of bias as I can. So for people, you've heard me say that before on the show, folks, that I try not to read impressions or get detailed accounts. It's not. It's from what I'm hearing so far. It's not the train wreck we've been predicting, even if it's not good.
Yeah, I knew that it was going to be tone deaf the moment that I heard the old white man sad song as the theme song of the trailer.
I heard there was a secret chord.
Yes.
I do like Hallelujah though. That's particularly Jeff Buckley's version of it. It's really good.
No, there's nothing wrong with the song except for the fact that it's about a blowjob, I think, or getting laid.
Oh, Bathsheba. Yeah.
So that's so typical Snyder.
Taryn said, "Have SBVH be the intermission." Hey, I do need a break in between that, so I could watch 2-hour movie. I can do my show and then catch the rest of Justice League. I mean,
well,
this
yeah,
is getting into Gone with the Wind territory. Like so
let
long
me.
to we had to switch, like we had to
Yes,
put an intermission into it so we can actually switch the film canisters over.
this is longer than also Ten Commandments.
Yeah,
Ten Commandments is 3.5 hours.
I mean, the only movie I can think of recently that was 4 hours was Wormwood, but even then it was kind of meant to be more of like they meant that to be released on like an FX, or something like that, kind of like a O.J. Simpson kind of mini series of only a couple episodes. So, anyway, so you can see the grimace in our fakes, folks. We will not stay on Justice League too much longer because no one wants to keep seeing that. But
yes, we're gonna have to power through this weekend.
Luckily, we both have copious amounts of booze and other items to help us out.
Yes.
All right. So Ben Kingsley. No, kidding. I was having issues. My brain was having issues because I was like, Kingsley Ben Adir, and I kept wanting to type Ben Kingsley. So these are not the same people.
But
if you recently
it would be Marvel canon accurate.
But if you recently watched One Night in Miami, he played Malcolm X in that movie. It's very very good, and he's getting an opportunity to play a Marvel villain. He's going to be the villain in Secret Invasion, although we don't know who he's going to be in Secret Invasion. And since we know the Skrulls are kind of like, we know Secret Invasion is not going to, it's not going to work the same way it did. Something's going to be changed. Something's going to be different. So who he will actually be, don't.
Words.
I mean, we could make some speculation, but I'm not actually sure.
He's going to be everybody.
He's going to be everybody.
Yes, I think he will be a Skrull, and therefore be everybody.
I mean, that's the easiest acting job ever. Just to get someone else to come in and
just every once in a while, you just show up with dots on your face.
It's like that time. Who's the one doctor was in Harry Potter? He ended up playing.
Crowley, aka Tennant, David Tennant.
There you go. Yeah. Easiest paycheck you ever got. That wasn't him. It's not like they're gonna CGI someone else's face onto him and be like, all right, so we need this to look look real, and then the real actors over there like.
Okay.
Lindy Fitness says David Tennant was in Harry Potter. Yes, is in Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, he was the son of the Minister of Magic, and was a Death Eater who had a snake obsession.
Mm-hmm. It is a blink and you'll. Yeah, it is kind of a blink and you'll miss it. Because they show his face getting captured in that one scene,
and then they show his face in the jail, or in the courtroom, and then they show his face at the end, as well.
So yes, easiest acting job.
Yes, and that was pre Doctor Who, I think.
That's like Harrison Ford in Rise of Skywalker. Couldn't be bothered to come back and reshoot new scenes. So they just recut old scenes from Force Awakens.
Yep.
That happened, people.
Don't even bother bringing the truck. Just, I'm not coming.
And more importantly, pre-DuckTales. Pre-DuckTales! Did I miss something?
Woo-hoo.
I feel like I missed something.
David Tennant is the voice of Uncle Scrooge in DuckTales.
I don't know if I wanted to know that. Dang it. All right. So we talked last week. Avengers Endgame got toppled by Avatar. We don't really care about box office numbers, but if we did, it's a little upsetting that we have James Cameron got to do that. But And some other Marvel nuggets that dropped this week. All the fans are upset because the slam dunk for Noob Master 69. If you don't know who Noob Master 69 is, go back to Endgame, Thor, and his crew from Ragnarok, and play on Xbox Live, and they're getting beat up or something happened to him on Xbox, and Noob Master 69 is the one that did it. And everyone's thought was that should be Deadpool. Everyone said like that should be Deadpool, and I'm like, yeah, that seems like that seems like something Deadpool would do. And no, they decided to stay in current universe. We know Deadpool will eventually be involved, but they decided to stay in universe. So the recent Xbox promo, where Falcon, because he got blipped, he got snapped away, has been gone for 5 years. So he's in an Xbox store and is asking for help, and he's like, what have I missed? I need you to catch me up. And then it's the tech guy from the Apple or PC store in Winter Soldier. The person I was trying to help Cap, and he was trying to help Cap and Natasha. And he's the one that ends up helping Falcon. But you got to catch that his name in it is New Master 69. Now, some folks have said this is a commercial, so there could be some ways to kind of bend with that or play with it. It's like maybe this is just a Microsoft thing, and if they wanted to, they could still make it Deadpool. I don't know. I feel like fans would just have to give that up. I mean, it would have been cool, and in our head canon, we can just keep it as. I'm
going to be honest though. If Deadpool had an Xbox identity, it would be like something, like anus dilator, or something like that. It wouldn't be as innocuous as Noob Master 69.
That is also a valid point. It would be worse.
Yeah, it would, or like Miss Pig, or Kermit Lover, or something absolutely ridiculous.
Lindy Finnis says, "I'm not Deadpool 69." Yeah. Oh gosh, it could be like, "I'm not Deadpool. I'm not Ryan Reynolds." Go fourth wall break.
Oh, it's Hugh Jackman 69.
This is totally Hugh Jackman. Yeah, gosh. There's some. Okay, if we take that approach, then yeah, there.
I mean, it would definitely be nice if that was the case. Like Noob Master always felt so pedestrian for Deadpool.
Now, what I really want to know is, can Thor play Xbox in space? Because that would be the mic drop. Like what?
I mean, in my beloved world, like I would want to have the man in the chair be the Noob Master.
The man in the chair.
Yes.
Ned.
Yes. Yeah, Jacob Batalon or Batalon.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see Ned doing that, but I don't mind it being like, because this is such a one. It's an opportunity for a small bit actor to have a chance to come back. Yeah. So I do for him. And folks in the chat are saying, Ron, yeah, Aaron from the computer store. What's that? I'm seriously not Deadpool, but sus. 69. It always has the N in 69. It always has the N in 69.
It always, yes.
It always. Lindy Finnis, I was not hating on DuckTales. I was just eyebrowing to David Tennant. That's all.
But I don't know. I think it might be more dangerous to hate on David Tennant than it is to hate on DuckTales.
Look, he said DuckTales is fire. I believed him if they say DuckTales is fire. And then, but I forgot Scrooge McDuck is kind of got that. So yeah, just talking about all his Scottish glories. I'm like, yeah, that actually, thank you, because I've jogged my memory. He's like, yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, got it. Yeah. I see why he was cast. Tom, do you want a little Ewok running around on Disney Plus? Do you?
Yeah.
Have you been missing Ewok action in your life?
That is one thing I said about the remakes of the original series, as well as about the final trilogy is that there just weren't enough. There needed to be more Ewoks everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I wish there was an Ewok Jedi.
I'm sure there has been, right?
I want to see it. I want to see Ewok Jedi and wow, shoot, I forgot his name. Dromu. Baby Yoda team up.
Grogu.
Grogu, yes. Dormu is the one that we come to bargain with.
Dormammu. We bargain with Dormammu. We hug Grogu.
Yes.
Give him all the chocolate milk and chicken nuggets that he wants. Okay.
And frog eggs.
We don't talk about that. You know.
So I want to see them do a buddy cop or buddy Jedi team up movie.
So if you have no idea what we're talking about, there are 2 Ewok movies. There's Caravan of Courage, an Ewok Adventure, also known as the Ewok Adventure, and
which
then
I still have on
Ewoks,
VHS somewhere.
The Battle for Endor.
Which I also have on VHS somewhere.
Why?
You
just needed all the Star Wars.
I got it when I was a wee baby.
A wee baby Tom lad.
And that was one of those things that I still have a Return of the Jedi Ewok mug somewhere.
That's just blasphemous. That's just ridiculous. I'm kidding. That's fine. Not that you need my approval, but you do. So, there you go.
Yes. I can now sleep well tonight.
Exactly. That's right. I got your back. Lindy Fitness said frog legs are delicious. No, we're not. Yeah. We're not saying frog legs aren't delicious. Frog eggs.
Sentient frog eggs.
About to be born, and he just.
Yep. Like it was bubble tea.
Yeah, imagine Grogu, the cute little, just soaking up a boba, and then it's like, oh, that's not bubble tea. Oh, we're terrible.
Where's my big straw?
This is why we can't be on FCC airwaves. Oh gosh.
Hey, we haven't used any of the bad words yet.
Hey, you're right. They still won't let kids watch this.
Yes.
The other news though, with the Ewok movies coming out. So before Clone Wars, the movie, which was blah, and then before Filoni got into the Clone Wars show and really made it, got into it, made Ahsoka more, really fleshed her out, and just really created, before all that, there was the animated Cartoon Network Clone Wars that served as the lead up into Revenge of the Sith. And unless you it's been sporadic online. Sometimes you could watch it on YouTube, sometimes you couldn't. And I think recently it's been pulled off of there. It is heading to Disney Plus at the same time as Ewoks hit in April. So you'll finally be able to watch that whole series. I think it's about 20 episodes. They're very short little vignettes, kind of just telling a really quick story. Honestly, you can think about it, some of the smaller stories that happened in the first season of Clone Wars, but whereas the CGI one kind of had some issues in that first season, the animated one is just super solid, and it's a nice little romp before you go into Revenge of the Sith. And the General Grievous in that animated is terrifying. That's where a lot of people are confused going into Revenge of the Sith, because they're like, I don't know who this guy is, because the animated one makes me drop a load in my pants. I'm terrified of that guy. The scene where he takes down a bunch of Jedi in a ship graveyard is amazing. Amazing.
And and the fact that he's almost doing it just like he's collecting Pokemon. He's murdering Jedi and collecting their sabers. It's just a hobby. Killing Jedi is a hobby for him.
Yeah, that's so good. I like that. Yeah, I like to think of that Grievous or the Clone War one, the movie one. I just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the movie. He's basically like Diet Vader in that he's asthmatic as
Diet
well.
Vader. You know, some of the things they had, the set notes about Grievous was that he's supposed to kind of represent this bridge between, it's kind of represent this bridge between what Vader is a little bit, kind of like seeing like a failed version of him, even though that's not what obviously no one was thinking about Vader, as far as like his or canon wise, as far as like making him, but the imagery of him is kind of supposed to be like a more outward expression of what's going on inside of Vader's body, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yep.
Let's see, where were the Ewok movies canon? I don't know.
They are now.
Oh, yeah. Does anything that hit Disney Plus make it canon?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
But I think that it should be, because I would be super pissed at Disney if like they're like, oh yeah, all the fan stuff, everything that was made is just now over there, and our stuff here. Oh, by the way, we're bringing stuff in, and we're bringing more and more in. That just,
I mean, they did that anyway with Legends or Legacy and stuff anyway. So it was very much, we're gonna pick what we want to be canon. So I'm not surprised. But
God, I hope they do a Legacy series, and we get to see yet another whiny Skywalker.
I'm done with the Skywalkers. I'm done. I know we got it in, or I won't say that in case people haven't finished Mandalorian, but I just can we move on?
Too.
Can we move on?
I will endure Cade Skywalker just so that I can experience Imperial Knights on the screen.
No. The time's gone for that. It's over. It's done. Tom.
Yes, good.
Because then you're gonna have to write. I don't. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Don't get me started. You got me started. You got me monologuing. How could you?
Yes, I'm gonna throw a tree at you. It's in a couple of minutes.
Let's see.
Keep going.
Doug saying hello there. Nice. Thank you for the reference. Good reference. Oh, Obi-Wan. Yeah. All right, our last topic, or sorry, our last news, or correct. It's an editor's correction. I want to make, because last week we were given some speculation on why Raya and the Last Dragon may have done poorly in the Chinese box office, and just overall why it may not have done well. And I don't think what we said was wrong. I just don't think we had enough information. We do have more information now about some things that have come to. Though not necessarily come to light, just wasn't aware of when we went to air last Wednesday. So, I'm going to leave the Chinese market alone because I do think me and Tom were still right there of, it could be in the same thing of like a Mulan of like, while this still resonated with different people, especially if they're of Southeast Asian backgrounds and if we're steeped in that culture and that's their tradition, and like, it's not saying that it's not going to be impactful for you. But particularly whatever, I don't know what's going on in the Chinese market specifically, but it seems like American-made movies like this just don't hit, And it could also be some other themes that are in there that I'm not thinking of that don't immediately come to mind to just rub against Chinese values. So that's a longer conversation that we have for tonight. But I'm gonna set that market aside for a second. But in the North American market, Disney was tripping. Disney was outside the damn out. All right. If you watched it, if you watched it legally, you had to pay $30. Well, I'm just being honest. I'm just, I know some people don't have Disney Plus, so they might have done that thing that we don't say on air. They might have done that thing.
Yes.
You know that other way, Tom, that you can watch a movie?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? You don't know another way to watch a movie when you haven't paid for it? Okay.
No.
We don't judge here at the Commander Shipp show. So if you paid for it on Disney Plus, thanks a lot, Tom. Got me going. If you paid for it on Disney Plus, it's $30. And what had been so let's real quickly back up to what's been going on during the pandemic is that most of the time when you release a movie, there's a window of time where it's in the theaters only. You can't put it on like video on demand, which would mean you could rent it. You can't stream it or put it on Blu-ray until this window is over. So since the pandemic, that's been shrinkened. That's been shrunk. So sometimes shrinkened. Yeah, it's been shrunk. The minimum it used to be was 90 days, and studios and theaters are kind of bounced back and forth about what number that should be. So some have set 30-day limits, 60 days. Some have maintained the same 90s. And even if they do a rental from the day it releases, they are still splitting some of that rental money with the theaters in like a profit share kind of situation so that theaters don't go under. So that's kind of where we've been at before the Disney premiere thing happened with Mulan this past September. And that Disney was giving us no numbers on how well the rentals of that did. I'm assuming not super well, because yes, I know they're doing it with Raya right now. But for this next piece I think this might explain why they want it so much from the theaters. So if you were a theater and you were going to potentially screen Raya and your theater chain, knowing that the online option was available and you were getting zero, you're getting zero of that money from the $30 ticket that Disney's making. Zero. I'll say that again. For the $30 ticket, zero. Disney wanted 50%. Now, that's not crazy compared to what, it can fluctuate between 40 to 50% ticket sales for studios and theaters anyway. So that's really not that crazy. Again, but that's why I gave you the context of they got zero money from the rentals. That's really where theaters were kind of like, no, this is not going to work for us. So in North America, the only major chain that was showing it was AMC. Regal has been closed. Regal is still closed since they closed before the summer of last year, and they have not reopened. So Regal is still closed. They did when Tenet came out, they did try to come back for a little bit, and then they decided no, then they went back to close. So, but effectively, yes, Regal's been closed. Cinemark said, nah, we're not doing that. This is nuts. Like we're not no. Harkins, which is up in the southeast, kind of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas City area, said no. Cineplex, if you're in our Canadian listeners, they also said no, we're not doing that. So that's 3 chains, along with Regal being closed, that weren't showing Raya and the Last Dragon. So yeah, your numbers in the box office are probably not going to do well if you're really only showing an AMC, maybe a random United Artist. Who do we have here in Missouri? Marcus Cinemas. You insert your other regional theater chains. It's like if that's it, then you're not gonna do too well. So I think Disney, if they are gonna do rentals, I get it. And I did a post on this online about if you're a family, that ticket is very tempting. So I get from a family of 3, 4, add up the number. Like I get why that's tempting for them, because instead of taking my family to the theater already in a pandemic, which already isn't a great idea, is that $30 for when it would have cost me at least 30 just to get myself and my spouse and a child. Not to mention that again, how many other children you may have had. So I get it from a family perspective. They're like, yes, we will do that for the early access to go, but for anyone else, that's a little steep, and the undercut to the theaters is real. Like it is really hurting for them to be sharing zero. Let me say it again, zero with theater chains. Like that's a problem. And Tom, you know how much we have crapped on Warner Brothers and HBO since they said we're going to release all the theaters online. But even Warner Brothers and HBO renegotiated deals, and the profit share with what they're getting for the movies that were released, or they're going to be released on the streaming service. So I'm like, no, and Warner Bros. Is still messing up in plenty of other ways.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yeah.
But it's like, wow, I can't believe that Warner Brothers is a little bit better than
Yeah.
Disney.
If Warner Brothers is on the right side of the fence from you, you really need to stop and rethink your life choices.
I've been ragging on Paramount Plus because I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And even they still have a 30-day window. And if you rent it on the Paramount service in that 30-day rental, they will still profit share with that 30 or whatever the amount that rental is before the movie becomes streaming. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if there's a meme going around that I want to give it more context, some of you may have seen it on my personal page. That's why I want to give more context to it. So I don't think what me and Tom said last week was wrong per se. I think we just got to give a little more context to it. That said, if you can safely see it, like we've always said, I still recommend staying at home. But if you can safely see it, go see it, because projects like this need to be supported, so that again, that corporations don't think, oh, we can't make it. We can't. Yes. There's no way for us to make this movie. It's like, that's a bald-faced lie.
Yes, and also contextually, just doesn't fly as well.
Yeah. But plug for tomorrow. I will explain
yet again.
Yet again, more of the situation. Not necessarily more of that situation, but just the dynamics at play with trying to support a movie when you want to see more of those people, see more of yourself on screen. What, Tom? Tom, get it together.
What do you mean, those people?
You know what I mean. Do you? Do you, Tom? No, me neither. All right. Let's see. Linear Fitness is saying 30 for an entire family to see a movie is a steal. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So there's definitely, I can see why people will be worried about this becoming the norm. So
I still think there's magic in going to a movie theater.
Oh yeah.
And not just for me as an adult, but me as a child loved going to a movie theater. It was cool renting a movie from Blockbuster, but it just wasn't the same as going to a theater, paying too much for popcorn, and just the lights going dark and being just immersed in whatever you're watching.
Well, I would say God, that's a trip down memory lane. Spending just like a long time in the sci-fi, like my mom was like, yeah, you can pick one out. Mm-hmm. Telling young Kenneth to pick one out. No, that's just not. Although I will say something, and people may not believe me, but I have never rented the same movie twice. My parents might have picked something again so that they could watch it again, but I never picked the same movie twice. Because I always wanted to get something else. I always wanted to watch something else. And it's not that I didn't love, like, anything that we watched over and over again, we probably already owned it. So like if it was going to be Alien or Aliens, then it's like my dad either had bought it or, hey, you remember when your VHS could record?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Ken.
And I remember like trying to precisely, like, I hated having to waste tape on commercials. So you'd be like, all right, it's done. And remember, remind me to record when it comes back on, so we don't like lose part of the movie.
And then you press record, but it doesn't quite hit, so you like lose 30 seconds. And you're like, oh, God!
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
I think we're beyond the statute of limitations, but I remember as a kid my neighbor asking to borrow our VCR for a day, and came back with a copy of Top Gun and our VCR. And every once in a while he would call up and be like, "Can I borrow your VCR?" And
is he like recording from an actual V? Because There are a couple different ways to do that. If you had two VCRs, you could just feed the feed from one VCR into the next and just record it from that. Some of them had the tape copying. So it's like if you had two, you had like two decks, so like one deck could pull from the other one. Yeah. I think there was supposed to be I thought there was a privacy thing on the tape. I think you had to break something on the tape. I think there's a pin or something on it.
There, for tape to tape, like for the duplication, yes. Doing it the other way, no, because all you had to do was have your VCR tuned to channel 3, and then so there's original, and then VCR tuned to channel 3, and then TV tuned to channel 4, so that you could just watch it while you made copies.
Yeah, man, those are the days.
In theory.
Yes, if you were going to.
Yes, we do not recommend that.
Oh no, we definitely
We definitely don't recommend anyone copying VHS tapes.
Do not copy VHS tapes. That's terrible. I definitely will not do that with the Star Wars VHS trilogy I just got. Nope. Assuming I can even find a VHR anymore. All right.
I do have a VCR.
Let's see.
If you'd like to borrow it.
If I need to borrow one. Doug saying, I'm single and I'd pay $30 if I have to for Black Widow. Yeah. You know what I think would have been the perfect case study for this, though? And because we're like a year late, but if the pandemic happened in 2019 and right before Endgame would have came out.
Oh, boy.
Tell me that people wouldn't be buying this $30 ticket. Tell me they wouldn't be buying it. Of course they would.
Yeah. That would have been ridiculous. And also, I think it's also somewhat terrible because that would also probably secure that Avatar would still be.
That was the other day. It's like came back around. This is exactly what I was thinking. All right. So, folks, we are going to talk a little bit of Oscars to close up. And there's a lot of nominees. We're just going to talk about some of the things that stand out to us, potential snubs, things we're excited about, make a few predictions about where we think it's going to go. But we're just not running for y'all. There's a lot of Oscar categories. There just are.
Yes, there's no.
And you have the list available to you online. It's a very easy Google search where you can go see if you want to follow along with us. But we'll cover the big like supporting actor, actress, best picture, best director, score, and just if anything just really pops out on us of like, that's interesting. I also think let's see who's in the chat. Like the animated one might be of interest as well. Mm-hmm. So let's see.
So I'll say the first thing.
Go ahead.
So I think one rule about the Oscars is that after so many nominations or wins, we could weight them. So like a nomination is 2 points, a win is 5 points. So once you exceed, say, like 15 points or 10 points, you're just no longer eligible to win an Oscar because frickin' Anthony Hopkins and Gary Oldman need to make space for newer actors.
But that's not their fault.
I know it's not their fault that they're awesome, but at the same time, when I was looking, I'm like, Anthony Hopkins, come on.
Well, Anthony Hopkins is one, though, right? Oh, gosh.
What?
Oh, no, for Silence of the Lambs. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
He's won at least one.
But Gary Oldman hasn't.
Yeah. But Oldman, I think, has been nominated a bunch of times.
Yeah, nominated a bunch of times, I don't think. So the Best Actor nominees, Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman, Mank, Stephen Yeun, and Minari. And only one I haven't seen on that is The Father. So I need to work on that before the awards show. I think post hominis Oscar history makes me think that Chadwick's just got that in a lock. I think he does, and it's not saying that his performance isn't good because I also think it is worthy. It's worthy. I'd pick it. And Mank's not bad either. I think Gary Oldman probably should have got a little more attention for that just when it came out, but that could also be, you could also chalk that up to pandemic and stuff. Because while the movie had some issues in Mank, his performance was magnificent to watch. But yeah, I think Chadwick's got it. I think there's gonna be some tugs on the heartstrings for the voters. It's gonna be the story they know the best, as far as like we lost him, and I'm thinking about and it's not necessarily right or wrong. I think that's what people will be thinking about when they need to cast their ballot.
Yeah, I would agree. He deserves it, flat out, or at least he is deserving. But yeah, I think that he will edge out everybody else. And I haven't seen Father, and I haven't seen Minari.
The Oscar voters are notoriously lazy. Just they maybe watch half, and that's being generous. They maybe watch half of what they're supposed to, and their identities are a hodgepodge of people. Some of it's press, some of it's fellow directors stuff. Like and people from the Screenwriters Guild, Directors Guild, and like different Hollywood production guilds. So it is a mix of talent there. But then you also get producers and execs that are so busy that they just don't give it the time that it needs. So I know we cover it. We try to watch everything, or what we can, and we're still not going to be able to probably get to everything. So imagine people that are schedules are even more hectic than us, or just don't care. So if I'm mentioning that, that's why I'm if I say like kind of talking about tendencies, that's what I'm getting to. It's like I don't think some of them are going to do the due diligence. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, because most of this is member voting, right? And so it's actors voting on actors, and a lot of them do have quite a bit of free time between films and other things like that, but not necessarily at the time that Oscar judging comes about. So, but yeah, I would agree that asking an actor to watch a whole bunch of other movies and see them all the way through and then make really thoughtful choices seems to be a bit of a big ask.
Let's see. Actor in a supporting role. The nominees are... Oh, wait. Right. So this is the weird one. And I don't know how to feel about this one. So, sorry. I know I'm saying that a lot before I get to the nominees. So this is not directed at the first nominee. I'll get to it. I'll explain why. Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of the Chicago 7. Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and Black Messiah. Leslie Odom Jr. One Night in Miami. Paul Raci in Sound of Metal. And Lakeith Stanfield, Judas and the Black Messiah. So, why the hell... There goes our cuss allotment. Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya are in the same category. Like, were none of them the lead actor in Judas and the Black Messiah? None of them. They couldn't figure out who the lead actor was in that. Like, that's... And again, I know they submit it, and so you submit the category you think you should... So your production, if you're like the producer for that movie, you're going to submit your names of who you think can win in those categories, and then the Academy can kind of push back and be like, no, we don't think that's in the right category. So somebody thought this was still like the producers either sent this off and Oscars said it was good, or maybe the producers sent it off and the Oscars adjusted it. But
maybe they were confused because they played Judas and the Black Messiah, and therefore they thought, well, why don't we just make them both supporting actors since we can't choose which one is the lead actor?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And now you got them in the same... I mean, yeah. I don't know. It just... I don't know. Before anyone says like it's a race thing, I don't get that, because I have to go back and look through Oscar. I have to go back through and look for Oscar history and see if there's any kind of weird double noms like this. But usually, if you get nominated twice in the same movie and in like different roles, it's usually delineated a little bit. Like it might be all right, this person's gonna be the best actor and this person be supporting actor, right? That gives your movie and the actors a good chance to compete, right? This one guarantees that you might win, but you are definitely gonna kill your other actor's shot.
So, do you think like this is a racing? When people do point racing, and would rather have their racing team take second and third instead of having one make first and sacrifice the other one from the top five.
Yeah, I think it's
sorry, and maybe that could be a little bit too crunchy on the number side, but yeah, I think that.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've been thinking about this all week since it came out. And I'm still like, yeah.
I'm not sure either at this point, and I think it's a bit of a disservice to. Oops, I lost my place. To Daniel, especially.
Yeah, because I could argue he's the supporting character. I know it's about Fred Hampton, but we're seeing it through the eyes of that protagonist of was it like William Jones? I can't remember.
Something Jones, yeah.
Yeah, something Jones. So Stanfield's character is the protagonist. So maybe it's more of
O'Neill. I'm sorry, it was O'Neill.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it might be that Daniel's where he needs to be at, but they didn't want to put Stanfield against the best actor. And that might be a better way to think about it. Is that Daniel's where he needs to be at, but they didn't want to put Lakeith against the best actor field because they're like, we don't feel like he fits good in that spot either. So maybe it's not both of them being misplaced. It's just one, and they didn't know quite where to put him. If that's the case, I could feel a little bit better about it. It just still looks weird, and in a year where academies and stuff are just finding new ways to trip their own, like tie their own shoes up and trip themselves. It's harder for me to give them the benefit of the doubt. But this doesn't stink to me. It just seems like one of those weird.
It's a weird choice.
It's a weird choice. Lindy Fitness says deletes comment about race. I'm being honest. Like I don't see the smoking gun on this one. That's all.
Yeah.
Now if something comes out tomorrow and the Oscars say some wild nonsense, then I will come back on here and we'll talk about it. But no, yeah, nothing really. Yeah, it's just odd, but just odd. All right, actress in a leading role.
If Viola Davis doesn't get this, I'm going to be pretty furious.
I don't know, man. So it's Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Audrey Day, United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand, Nomadland, Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman. So some things right off the bat. I think Audrey Day is going to run into the same Gary Oldman problem in that their performances were good. The movie had issues, and I have a lot of issues with the United States versus Billie Holiday. So I'm not going to get into all of that right now. But so, yeah, she's good. But there's some Lee Daniels. We got to have a conversation, fam. We got to have a conversation. There's, it's like watching The Butler all over again. I'm like, this just ain't. I know I'm supposed to support my black creatives, my black directors, but I ain't like it.
I was listening on NPR the other day. On
NPR. This is not NPR.
And they were talking about. Oh shoot! I forgot the name of the movie that recently came out that was about abuse. I don't think it was Queen and Slim, but
about abuse. Was that Promising Young Women?
No.
Was it a year or two ago?
No, it was this year. I think it came out like maybe 10 weeks ago. But somebody was pointing out like it's time that we allow like we allow the movies to be bad. And so it's okay for them to be bad and for us to continue with those directors and other things like that. And I was just thinking about that because I haven't gotten around to seeing United States versus Billie Holiday, partly because of the weak reception I've been hearing from it.
Yeah, it's just we'll talk about it, and if we I have not got a chance around to reviewing that one. I'm still Kidup's got a backlog because we've never heard that before, but I'll see if I can get around to writing something up on it. But yeah, there's just some issues there. So I think I'm gonna put her in the Oldman spot of. I think because of the movie, you're probably not gonna get as many eyes on that as you probably should have. Viola. I think it's down to Viola and Frances McDermott. I don't know that they like them some Frances. They really do.
They do, but man, Viola Davis just
transforms.
Yes, she was unrecognizable as Viola Davis, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think a good comparison. Not in the content. Please don't. Please people don't pick it up. But I'm gonna say I think it's very much like Charlize Theron and Monster. That kind of transformation, like
yeah.
So I think because she pushed herself so far to emote and physically feel different, look different, and I think that even before you get to her performance, I think that's gonna get her so much attention before you get to Frances. So I would not be surprised if Viola and Chadwick like double headline, get like best actor, best actress on this one, but we shall see. All right, what do we got?
So supporting role.
Where are we? Did we already? Oh yeah, so we did. So actress in supporting role: Maria Baklova in Borat subsequent movie film.
Yes.
Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy. I hate that movie. Olivia Cole. What's that?
I just like the name.
You just like the name. I mean, it's a catchy name, but
yes.
That movie is trash. It ain't. Another one I should explain more, but we'll get to it later. Olivia Colman, The Father, Amanda Seyfried, Mank, and Yoon Jun Young, Minari. Oh yeah, because that's a young daughter in the movie.
Kind of rooting for Amanda Seyfried because I feel like I'm glad that she got some recognition as an actress, and she's been clawing her way back from Ted 2.
That's what did it. That's what sank the career.
I mean, the numbers seem to line up in that case. I loved her in Ted 2. She was possibly the best thing in the show, other than the love relationship between Putty and Worf.
God, Ted is such a odd movie.
Yes.
Right.
Though Maria, I think, would be kind of fun too.
She won the Globes, right?
I think she won the Globes, and Sasha won as well for Best Comedy.
I don't know. That one's tough.
We didn't, yeah.
I don't feel as strongly about it, like because Amanda Seyfried and Mank was pretty solid, but she's not in the movie a ton.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the kid from Minari. And then I still need to watch The Father, so I can't say anything on Olivia Colman. But if she's also,
other than she's wonderful,
she's wonderful, so it would not surprise me if I go into it and I'm like, oh, well, obviously, well, of course, yes. All right, yeah, I'll think on that one. Oh yes, animated feature film. I think some of these would be Onward, which was Disney and had Chris Pratt as one of the voices and Tom Holland. It's actually I like that one a lot. Over the Moon, Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. I'll let that one rest on its own. Soul. And then Wolfwalkers. So the only one, surprisingly, I haven't seen is Shaun the Sheep.
Hmm.
um, I, ah, this one isn't as strong to me. Um,
Maybe Soul.
I was gonna say maybe Soul, and I feel
I
like
mean,
Onward was so long ago. That was early 2020 that they and this eligibility period has been so stretched out that there's a possibility people are going to forget about Onward, Over the Moon, and then Soul would win it just because it's the recency bias. If I had
yeah.
if I had to put money on it, I'd be like, okay, I bet Soul wins because people have seen it more recently, and people would have
Is
to do the
Onward
work.
also a Disney Pixar?
What's that?
Is Onward also a Pixar?
Onward is a Disney animation. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's a. I think I double check. I don't think it's Pixar. There is a
Well, I mean,
difference between
that line is quite blurred now because
no that one is a Pixar. That one is a Pixar.
yeah, I guess the question is more not is it Pixar or Disney? Is Lasseter involved or not? And
Well, no, that is a difference. So if it's a Pixar, I don't. They still keep those two separate as far as like the.
no, I
creative
thought
teams.
I thought they blurred them ever since Brave
Nope.
because
They're still
Disney wrote and produced Brave under Pixar, and Pixar produced Wreck-It Ralph under Disney.
no. Wreck-It Ralph
Yeah.
is not a Pixar film.
I understand that, but the Pixar team,
They might have came over there and helped them out a little bit.
they helped him out a lot. And I think Lasseter helmed Wreck-It Ralph, and somebody else somebody who was not Lasseter helmed Brave.
Yeah,
when
I
they
mean,
came
it's
out.
more about the. Or I guess maybe a better way to say it is not necessarily did Pixar work on it or not. Did the Pixar brain trust work on the script? So if they didn't work on it, then it ain't a Pixar movie. If the brain trust is the one is in the hands of that new writer, whoever's coming in for that production, then it's a Pixar movie. That's when you know it's like, oh, okay, did they give it the seal of approval in their process? Then yeah, then it was probably them. Yeah, I think Onward probably should win it because as much as I liked Soul's got some problems. Soul is like two movies put together. I would have rather have just had a black jazz movie or a movie about the afterlife and the spirit. And instead we got this like, but isn't jazz soul? If you want to know why I'm rolling my eyes at that movie, that's the problem. Because that's about as descript as they get about. And there's some good themes in there. There really are. Like, I think the target demographic, the kids are going to get it. The simple message in that. But gosh, as an adult watching that, I'm upset because I'm like, yeah.
Well, not only just as an adult, but as a person who I'll say lives and studies music. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just, yeah. Nothing else on that. But yeah. 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 All right.
I think those are like the main ones, though I do want to bring up costume design. Ma Rainey does need to win that one.
So yeah, I'd agree with you on costume design. Let me go
and makeup too.
I'm really glad. Hey, they didn't put Minari in the international feature film. Hey, Oscars, you're doing better than the Golden Globes on that one.
How much do you want to bet that it was before they did their announcement, and then they saw all the heat to the Globes, and they're like, "Nope, it's over here."
I'm like, it's made by A24 and American directors. Like they don't. Some of them's a little broad, like, but like Lee Isaac Chung's, I think, is kind of bounced back and forth. But I'm like, he's still American citizen. Like, it's an American produced and back. That's worse than the confusion with the supporting actor. At least I could kind of see the supporting actor thing. That one made no sense. So they don't have that issue. Let me see if there's any that stand out. Oh, okay. One snub. Why can I not think Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the director for One Night in Miami. I was asking for that earlier. And then Regina King. Good Lord. Sorry. Sorry, Queen. Sorry, Queen. Sorry, Queen Regina. My bad. My bad. That your name would ever be lost from my lips. I apologize. Taryn, don't you start that. Don't you do that. Don't give me that information in the middle of a show. Distracting me. All right. So Regina King being left off this with it only being 5 nominees when we've got 5 to 6 in the other categories just feels a little like why? Because I know she racked at the Golden Globes, had been the talk of the town in the festival circuit, so that seems like an odd omission. And then Another Round sneaks onto the list, and then really, it didn't get a Best Picture nod at all. Got almost no recognition. Again, I'm not. I know we keep referencing the Globes, but the Globes are like an indicator where what people are watching. Doesn't mean necessarily what they're going to win and stuff like that. But that's why we can find the Globes useful, because we kind of see what people are watching ahead of the Oscars. But I mean, I got to double check, but I don't think Another Round got any hoopla at all during the Globes. So for that to be on there, and then Regina not to get that director's nod. Again, not saying she's going to win it, because this is a really good field. If I had to take a stab, I think Chloe Zhao is going to get it. I really think she does. Even if Frances McDormand doesn't win Best Actress for Nomadland, I think Chloe Zhao's probably got that wrapped up. Maybe I'll rank those a little bit later. But yeah, Regina, that's a travesty. So those would be no. Come on, people. Tom, I think you are right, though. I don't think there's anything else that's really. I agree with you on the makeup and hairstyling.
Yep, music. Trent Reznor is got good odds on winning an Oscar.
And then who did Judas? Because did he do Judas as well? I'm gonna look.
No, he's been doing a lot.
He has been doing a lot. So that's Mark Isham and Craig Harris. Now, I know we don't.
Oh, there's Best Picture.
Let's see. Fight for You, as far as original song, I would not be surprised if Judas wins for that one. Because and honestly, I wish they could be nominated for an entire album. If it was like Best Album for a movie, that to me would just win hands down. It reminds me so much of like when the Black Panther soundtrack came out, and people were just playing that for months on end. It is that good. I just don't think as many people are obviously gotten to watch Judas and the Black Messiah, but they just done it. It's fantastic. So even if you don't go watch the movie, but then 2, listen to that album. Yeah, it's got the energy of Black Panther album, and but it's like talking about or it's more blatant about like This Is America, Childish Gambino. It's like that's the mentality of the album with a Black Panther energy feel. Probably the best way I can describe it. Cool.
So Best Picture. I have issues with The Trial of the Chicago 7. It wasn't bad, but it was like Wish.com, Judas and the Black Messiah in comparison.
Well, he Sorkin'd it up.
Yeah, and usually I like Sorkin, and I often like his style of walk and talk, but it just still was not as good as Judas and the Black. It's not even close. And for it to be there, and another movie.
Well, I guess it goes back to like One Night in Miami. I'd kind of would rather have that in there than Trial of the Chicago 7. Like I said, I still need to watch The Father, so I don't know about that one. Oh, you know what? Since we were talking about nominee or voter bias, the one thing I forgot about with Mank, It's the same reason some reviewers really loved Hail Caesar, even though I think it's a convoluted piece of trash. Even though, like,
It was.
I do enjoy pieces of that movie. I think there's some really
Yeah.
great scenes in it, particularly the "What toi so simple." What?
Yeah, there's a lot of good, funny moments. But the overall film.
But he's doing that. Oh gosh, it might at least be worth a watch just for that accent scene. If you just like type accent scene from Hail Caesar into YouTube and just watch that, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Alden Henrich, who ends up playing Han Solo in the spinoff Solo movie, and Ralph Fiennes that's a great scene. And then Channing Tatum just hamming it up, but it's hilarious. He's just like, you just need me to eat some scenery real quick and dance my butt off. Oh, cool, I'll do that. But since it is a Hollywood movie, it's a movie about Hollywood. It is like going back to that old golden age and era. It's the same reason Once Upon a Time in Hollywood got a lot of attention, even though I still think there are way better Tarantino movies, and that movie's got some issues with it. Like, again, if you like it, cool, but I don't think it's that great. And I think it got more attention because it's a Hollywood movie. It's about Hollywood. It's the same reason La La Land got a bunch of attention as well. And La La Land is barely. I fall asleep. Okay, I fall asleep. I can't keep my eyes awake during La La Land anymore. I was able to watch for it once. I'll probably sell my Blu-ray of it because
I haven't, and I haven't watched it yet, mostly because of the fact that it horribly mansplains jazz again. Jazz is soul.
And you got John Legend right there. That's the other thing that I don't get. It's like, I know you don't want to necessarily turn every singer into an actor, so I get that. So there is a wisdom in trying to train your actor to do particular things, So, because you think about, I was just watching some of the behind the scenes on Creed, and obviously Michael B. Jordan is not a professional boxer, and they actually let him get hit by the pro boxer that was in there, and he went night night.
I hope we have.
There's video of it.
Yes.
Go check that out. It's actually really good. Sorry. The other problem is that he had to stay down for the shot. So the other worry was, folks were like, folks couldn't tell for a second. They're like, did he get? Is he out, or is he still trying to stay out for the scene? And then he's like, yeah, I wasn't unconscious, but I was.
I wished I was.
He's like, I didn't know what up from down. But with that said, but there is still again, he got physically trained for it. He's not a real boxer, but he got trained for it. So but you still need someone that's going to be able to deliver and emote the lines a certain way. So there is still wisdom and benefit in doing that. That's not really what I'm knocking at. But there's some people that just have better cross training, or grew up singing, dancing, and before you say yes, Ryan Gosling was a Musketeer, it's that ain't always. It's not the same. You remember people used to have to be triple threat. They used to have to be able to sing, act, dance. That used to be
the standard.
The standard.
Yeah.
we don't really do that anymore, and that's okay. But when you get to a movie that needs that, I don't know if that's the movie I would cast Ryan Gosling or Emma Stone.
He's no Frank Sinatra.
So Linda Fitness says that was 30 years ago.
La La Land?
It was.
Feels like it.
Check your calendar. It might have been about 40, 50 years ago. I was gonna say 30 years puts us in the 80s, so you got to go back a little further.
Yes,
and then as I say that, I get more and more.
Lindy Fitness, you're old.
MMC.
Yeah, 1950. No, 2000.
Did you throw Roman numerals at me?
Yes.
I can't be mad. That was pretty good. Oh, Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh,
30 years ago for Mickey Mouse Club. Got it. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also he wasn't exactly the best in the Mickey Mouse Club, if I recall. He was no Britney and he was no Justin.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is there
So
anything else?
I don't know if there's too much else that we care
I'm
about.
just gonna look at writing real quick.
Visual effects, Tenant, okay, that's gonna win.
Wait, let me go back. Visual effects.
It's right above writing, adapted screenplay.
Yeah, probably because Mulan was like using freaking fireworks instead of actual explosions. I don't know what was going on there. Looked like a weird cross between a Michael Bay explosion but without fireballs. So it like just looks. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
It might have had some historical accuracy because, like,
No, I get that part. I mean, just okay. There's historical accuracy, and then there's movie expectations of how a thing works, how movie physics work. So if you're gonna break out of that, you need to be careful when you. So it was clearly not meant to be a firework, is what I mean, or
Gotcha.
it kind of explode in that way. But yet it's still, So that's why I said the Michael Bay thing. You ever look at some of the Michael Bay shots and you see some like things kind of go off? You can almost see the cans of fire going off, and you can see where they're timed at in the explosion. So you're kind of like, that seems what.
Well, and it's funny because I was when I watched the last two Fast and Furiouses last week because it's all about family, and unlimited breadsticks. I was actually quite impressed with the lack of explosions in Fast and Furious. Like, cars just don't explode like they do in other movies.
That's true.
So
but
I give them,
but are they able to jump in the air and then be heat seeked by a missile?
yes, as well as jump from building to building in a $4 million car.
Did said car fly off the other side? Right.
Yes, with them jumping out of it.
That happens.
Yep. No, I look forward to our slow and agreeable marathon.
Slow and agreeable marathon. Me and Tom have been talking, and actually before we do that, so yeah,
Sure.
I think we're good on the Oscars. I guess we'll put out an official list of what we think is going to win, but probably still stay in the major categories. We won't go to some of the other ones and get that out. But definitely thank you all for your thank you for joining us in that conversation. And so we'll start to wrap up. So the slow and agreeable marathon. I didn't know that's what we were going to call it, but that's that's kind of perfect.
It just popped into my head.
No, that is great. I like it. Me and Tom have been ragging on Fast and Furious for a while. Tom started rewatching some of 7 and 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fast 7 and Fate of the Furious.
Fate of the Furious. So we've been contemplating going back and rewatching the Fast and the Furious films and giving it our critical eye, recording ourselves as we do it.
Yes, in different states of mental acuity as well, because I think that'll be necessary. Can I make one request? Can we skip Tokyo Drift?
No.
Damn it. Can we at least do it?
If we're gonna do it, then we got to do it right.
Can we do it in the timeline that I discovered? Is that Tokyo Drift isn't actually the second or third movie. I can't remember which one it was. While it is, it actually happens chronologically between 6 and 7.
Maybe. We could try it this time and see if it affects my feelings on Tokyo Drift. Do you not like Tokyo Drift? Is that...
I always thought that, that was... of this pantheon of cash grabs, this was the most cash grabbiest of them all.
This was the most cash grabbiest?
Yes, I think I feel
no.
so. Hear me out. Hear me out. Because they had 2 successful Fast and Furious, and then
they had 1, and then 2 was debatable. Yes, it was financially successful, but it's probably the most maligned one of the franchise.
Sure, but my thought is that in a boardroom somewhere, a producer said, "Okay, hear me out. We didn't like what happened with 2, so what if we just take the name Fast and Furious and remove everybody except for one actor, and then just have Vin Diesel make a cameo at the end, and then it's part of the Fast and Furious." It felt so shoehorned.
I like it because it gets back to just the car culture, though. Because 2,
but man,
2. The reason I hate 2 is Brian is the least interesting character. And God rest in peace. Rest in peace. But Brian as the character is the least interesting one of the entire. So, Too Fast. I don't
feel like that's standard for every Fast and Furious film that Brian's in.
No, I don't disagree with that. So, like, if you're not going to do Vin Diesel and you aren't going to put Brian in the 3rd one, then I'm good. I'm good. It's like, okay, we're going to go back to car culture. We're going to talk about a different piece of it when it hasn't been explored yet. So we're going to be like, this is how it works in Japan. I'm like, cool.
It's not. Like, it rings as hollow as the original Fast and Furious car culture.
It is like it's like 2 states removed car culture, right?
Yes.
So I'm not disagreeing with that. But if that was okay in Fast and the Furious, why is it all of a sudden not okay when you come to Tokyo Drift?
Oh, it's not okay in either. But
okay, no, at least you're consistent. I
just felt like
I applaud you. You're consistent.
I guess my thought was just like, oh, how can we spice this up? Because it seems like we're dying down. I know, let's go to someplace exotic like Tokyo, and then the drifting scene is interesting, but the way that they executed the drifting scene in that movie was a bit maddening to me.
Oh, the one in the downtown.
Yes, well, or they're drifting in a very full parking garage, or other things like that, and then the audacity to think that Vin Diesel in his flying Dodge Challenger, I think it's Challenger, right?
He got some other car. It's one that was already there. I don't think he brought his exact
crappy Mopar, and he's drifting up against like Subarus and Supras and Nissan 240s, all cars that are like.
Obviously, he's not going to do as well as. Because no one drives like they should in those movies. Okay, they apparently have 15 gears to shift to in those movies. So I'm sorry.
A quarter mile takes 5 minutes.
I'm saying you're talking about the drift mechanic not being realistic. Yes! Stop shifting, damn it! Who are you shifting to? And it's always up. You're always going up to where? Up to where? 8th gear, 9th gear.
Yes. These are custom cars. They have 15 gears. Someone put in a truck transmission into drag race.
It's like gratuitous gun cocking. That's like, was the gun? Wait, was it? It wasn't already, but you just did it. Oh, you're doing it again. So now, which one is it? Do you have more? You got round. You trying to clear a round? That's not even how you do. Okay, sorry. No, there's all those little nitpicky, or that's not nitpicky. It's legit issue. Okay, you're consistent on not liking the car.
But it's one of those things that takes you out of the movie in that moment, and you're just, what the hell? Why are they doing that?
Yeah, that's fine. I like the story of Tokyo Drift.
Okay, and
I think I'm probably one of the few people that liked the. Again, even if it's not a good representation of car culture. The weak attempt at it I thought was interesting instead of this world gallivanting thieves. That's like,
yes.
Now we're just okay. It's almost like
Ludacris came from a barely serviceable mechanic to
and now he's a
world's
super
greatest
hacker.
actor.
Like what?
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, I know people are going to be confused. So, Pirates of the Caribbean kind of glosses over the fact that, I mean, I get that corporate interests in like the Dutch East Indian Dutch trading company is problematic. So this is not, those things can still be true, and they still be interacting with a group that's still bad. Like, so trying to cast pirates as heroes is hella problematic. And it gets even worse in the third one, because now you've got these different factions and clans that we're all supposed to just root for, and I'm like, what? Why? So East India Company, terrible, got it, but I'm not in support of piracy either, and they haven't actually shown us any reason why we should be supportive of their piracy. Has their piracy been saving slaves? Has their piracy been like taking down like insert whatever evil here? Like that would be a different conversation. Like it was like a Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood. If it were gonna be something like that, cool, got it. So what? How does that relate to Fast and the Furious?
Yes,
it's the same thing. It's the same problem. Why are we good with this? Why are we okay with this?
Yep.
When did it change and we become okay with it? And you might be wondering, like, am I okay with any heist movie? I love Oceans. I love watching Oceans, and I love watching heist movies. This is not saying that a heist movie is inherently bad, because it should make you question, am I okay with what they're doing in this? But they usually have established that, Oceans is a little more fun-loving, so it's kind of like a join the ride, and they look at these slick characters doing bad things like that, but that's their stick. That's what they do.
Sorry, I'm standing.
You're standing. Now you're cut off.
I'm getting there.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we need to wrap. So crap. But yeah, those other heist movies know what they're doing, why they're doing it. To me, Fast and Furious has never had that conversation, and it's just as problematic as Pirates, is that you have not had the conversation on why you're stealing stuff. What? Because your family? What?
Yeah, family. Because they gotta afford a whole bunch of new Olive Garden gift cards.
Those unlimited breadsticks, though.
Yep.
Let's see. Taryn, let me go to the comments real quick before we wrap up. Taryn saying, my first time watching Fast and Furious was in lead up to Hobbs and Shaw, but you skipped Too Fast, Too Furious. You like Tokyo Drift, though. Yeah, I mean, skipping Too Fast is totally fine in my book. And though you could skip, even as much as I advocated for Tokyo Drift, you could technically skip it and it won't make a huge impact story-wise, with the exception of whatever his name is that dies but didn't die.
The guy that died that didn't die.
No one dies in this movie. No one dies.
No.
And they all got the no-lose contract, so as we talked about on the show before, that certain actors in the movie don't want to get shown up by other actors, so they need you to they can't lose a fight. So that's an issue.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, the slow and what was it again?
The slow and agreeable
marathon. We'll be watching through those. We'll let you know if that's going to be live, or it might be something. This is just me and Tom recorded, and then we'll edit down our best bits out of it, and then let you watch that. I think that's going to probably be a Patreon exclusive first, so the Patreon folks get to watch it first, and then we'll release it on YouTube. So if you've been supporting us on Patreon, definitely be looking out for the notes on that, and we'll get details on that. All right. Let's wrap. And two things to be so we talked about tomorrow, Super Blurred Variety Hour, 8 p.m. Central. I'm talking about the issue. Oh, go ahead. Okay. Well, while Tom's doing that, I'll go ahead and give the updates. So, Super Blurred Variety Hour, Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. We will. So I'm talking about the problem of diversity and capitalism, how that can go together, but there's going to be some things that are there's going to be some issues there. Sorry, I did miss some of the Facebook comments. I'll come back around to that before we close. We touched on it a little bit during the show when we were talking about Raya to start or toward the middle of the show. So we will talk about that. I'll talk about that in a little more detail, and I'll use some examples in recent and past history of regarding capitalism and diversity. So I don't want to spoil all that, but that's what I'll be talking about tomorrow night. So one man monologue. And then there's going to be some other things that have come up in the news recently so I always cover that in the beginning before we get to the main topic. So if there's anything of note that I think we should cover, definitely talk about that on Thursday night. All right. What else do we have coming up? So Godzilla vs. Kong is in 2 weeks. It'll actually be dropping Wednesday morning before the show comes on the 31st. So in honor of that, we got 2 movie club opportunities. One is Patreon only, and the other one will be for everyone, because we've been doing it for everyone, but we have the movie club that's just for the Patreon users, so we got to start doing those. So we want to make sure we're honoring our Patreon supporters. So the one that's free to everyone to come and enjoy, we're going to be talking about Interstellar. We've been talking about 2001 a bunch on Resident Rejects and on this show a couple weeks ago. So we're going to talk about Interstellar, why we love it. There's some issues in it. There's still some things that like some of these things could have been done better, but if you want to know why I like it more than 2001, that's what we'll break down in that.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tom.
And one thing I like about it, the great thing about Interstellar is that it is a movie that both Neil deGrasse Tyson and several different astronauts did not crap on.
Yeah,
that's
and they do point out like there's still some scientific issues, but there's other ones they point out like, yeah, we don't know what happens in a black hole, but they had Rip Torn try to model it the best they could, and then the interesting thing is that model they developed for the black hole helped NASA out, helped other researchers out, because like,
didn't that help Bowman or something like that?
I forget. I'll definitely have that looked up before we do the watch, but they got some information out of it, because what they plugged into it, they weren't expecting, they were surprised what came out, and they're like, that's interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
And we could also talk about the fact that scientists have discovered that we need 30 times less energy for interstellar travel than we thought we did.
What?
Yep.
What? That's banana. That's bananas.
Mr. York can tell you more about that one.
Mr. York. Mr. York did say the Tokyo Drift has the best driving. See, Tom?
It's stunt driving, yes. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily disagree because
they went back to that's the main argument. Sorry, I forgot. It was mostly real cars. With the exception of the canyon run there, or the mountain run, it was mostly real car shots. You know, I know there's CGI shots there occasionally.
And there's a lot of practical effects going on.
Too Fast, Too Furious, the thing that upset me also was that it was like, original movie was more practical. Too Fast goes super CGI. And then Tokyo went back to practical, so I think visually I just liked it a lot more.
I could agree with that. I don't know. Just I will save my rants for my altered state viewing of it.
I should have saved it too. I got us going again, but I wanted to get to Steven's comment. So I said what the non-Patreon movie was going to be, Interstellar. For our Patreon subscribers, we're going to watch Shin Godzilla. If you've never watched the original Godzilla movie, and again, I understand sometimes going back to older black and white movies like that, as much as I might have a nostalgia for it, I understand it can be hard going back sometimes and just like it's not holding my interest. So even though I recommend the story of the original Godzilla for folks, I can understand why they may not like it. But if you need a modern retelling of it, Shin Godzilla is flawless. It came out 2017, couple years ago. In the US it was called Godzilla Resurgence, so if you're like, I'd never heard Shin Godzilla, Hero is called Resurgence, and it's a really good modern updating of the original Godzilla tale that's not so much focused on the radioactive fallout and the US bombing, but really focuses on modern Japanese politics and what would happen if a new Godzilla showed up in this time frame. Like, given everything that's happened in the past, so like the U.S. bombing still happens, they don't have a Godzilla attack in that timeline, so it's like it just moves everything up. And Japan today, it's a
they
really
blame it on Fukushima this time around, don't they?
What's that?
Don't they blame this on Fukushima?
I think so, loosely. I think so. It's been a little bit since I've watched it, but I think Fukushima is loosely the cause of it, but that's not really what they're focused on. But yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, it's really good, and I can't say it because if you haven't seen it, I want you to enjoy it. But there is a moment that kind of refers back to that to the past nuclear bombing, and this just God, it just has a good. It just understands what it's like. What would happen now? That's the question. Like, what would happen right now if Godzilla showed up in this Japan? If that question intrigues you, sign up for Patreon. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down. Even if you're gonna watch it on your own, you don't sign up for Patreon, I still recommend it. So those are going to be the two movies: Interstellar for non-Patreon, and then Shin Godzilla for our Patreon. We'll get the dates to you. That one of them will be happening on the 27th. Actually, let me go back real quick. Sorry, yes, we'll be watching Interstellar on the 26th, and then Shin Godzilla will be on the 27th. So nice. Two movies back to night to night, not back to back, but night to night. Cool. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, we're good. How are the comments looking?
I think we're good on comments. Let me check Facebook. Cool. All right.
Other than Winter Soldier and losing 4 hours of your life to Justice League, anything else on your docket?
I'll definitely try to get caught up on the Oscar movies. Anything else I missed? I know I got a little bit of time, but I'll probably try to get caught up on that. And then I'm 2 weeks behind on Superman, so I didn't get to watch this week or last week, so I need to get.
I haven't watched this week. Okay. Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, and remember, folks, Winter Soldier is this Friday, so we'll be talking about it on Tuesday nights with the quorum. So don't watch on Tuesdays. Go watch it on your own, and then we'll come and talk about it on Tuesday. Yes. Tom, what did you got on the docket for this weekend?
I don't know yet. I probably do have to catch up on some Oscar movies. Maybe see The Father. I'm not sure what else I'm gonna spend my time on. I've got a very big question mark going on Friday, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. When we can get offline. We'll get on here and talk about our Zack Snyder plans. All right.
Yes.
Thank you all for joining us. We always appreciate your questions. Love the support. Shout out to our Patreon supporters, Vici, Doug, and Shelby. We love y'all. And had some talks about some other folks jumping on. So hopefully that list is just going to continue to expand. And we do have some scripted programming coming up soon. I know we talked about the commentary on Fast and Furious, but we got the scripted. It's being shot. You notice my backdrop is fixed. So finally, definitely going to be shooting. It's going to be good. It's good. I'm excited. All right. Until next week, we'll salute you and see you then. Bye.